Just tell me one thing, Burke. You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Okay, we're the huge movie fanatics, and we're here to... I love the sound of that gun.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, man, that gun was so cool. We're here to review James Cameron's Aliens, which is obviously the follow-up to Ridley Scott's Alien, and this is one of the few, for my money, one of the few instances where the sequel... I think, for me, I don't like Aliens. A lot of people like Aliens more. I don't like it more. I think it's one of the few very rare occasions for myself where a sequel is not worse or better, but just as good in a different way. You probably like it more, which is fine. But for me, it's kind of like when you said on the Halloweens, the two Halloweens, they have different points of view. They come from different directions, which I absolutely hate the remake. But in this situation, it's kind of the same thing, where one movie, Alien, takes a kind of a more slow, subtle approach, direction, and Aliens obviously is like an action kind of approach. And I think that both ways, I think both movies are 4 stars, obviously, for Aliens. Both movies work very well for the respective, in a particular way they are. It's a perfect example of two different, basically, filmmakers approaching the same material in a lot of ways from just their personal way, from their sensibilities they come from, and how it can work, how one idea can work several different ways successfully. Aliens, I actually saw this. This is when I was afraid of scary movies, because I was like pretty young. We actually saw, I remember me and my dad saw this at the drive-in, and I didn't really watch it because it scared the shit out of me. But it was probably the second, I don't know, maybe the second movie or something like that. I didn't really watch it because it scared the shit out of me. This is before I got into horror movies. This is when movies scared the shit out of me. So I can actually say with pride that I saw Aliens at the when it's theatrical. Actually, I was there when it showed. I didn't watch it, so I didn't see it. But I was there. I was there when it was playing.
You were at
the drive-in. I was at the showing. But subsequently, obviously, it came out on video, and by that time, I was able to see it, and it was a huge, obviously, in our generation, was a huge movie among our generation, and. I think I'm going to let you carry off, and then I'll come back from what you said. I think I'll just do that. Aliens is just classic, and why don't you go, and I'll feed off of what you said.
So, Aliens is my all-time #1 favorite movie ever.
Because when we were watching these reviews, and you'd say top 5, top 4, whatever, I was always wondering, what the hell, and I figured someday we should actually hear what his top movie is.
This is my #1 favorite movie, the movie that got me interested in movies, hardcore, and it's, I think, Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect.
Which are we talking about? Theatrical?
The theatrical cut is what I saw and grew up with,
course,
and I thought that was the perfect movie. Until I saw the special edition, and then it cemented in that, but like there is nothing better. Like you can't.
Isn't that something?
Like with the missing, what is it, 30 minutes or whatever?
It's a lot, and isn't it amazing that they went and, but it was length, obviously, it made sense, but it was like a shame, like a sin to cut out that stuff.
But it was so important to the ultimate story at the end of the movie.
That scene, when she, oh my God, it is one of the most amazing scenes probably in a movie, when Ripley is handed the photo
of her daughter?
Dead daughter, who is, I don't know how old, she looks a lot older than they say she is, but I can't tell you the emotion.
Yeah, that is like one of the best scenes. And, I literally rewatched that 2 days ago on Blu-ray, wow, that scene is really fantastic. Like the only part of the movie that gets a little weak is where he's trying to mimic Ridley's Alien towards the beginning of the movie on the planet. Where you can tell he was trying to.
You mean the deleted scene where they went into the.
He was trying to be Ridley, and he's not Ridley. He's James Cameron, and that's the only part where it's a little weak. But even like for one scene being a little shaky, the rest of the movie being so masterful. I wasn't in attendance of this movie. I was actually due to be born the day that this movie came out.
Which, that is very cool.
That is really cool.
Being
I
that
ended
it's
up
your
being
favorite.
and I ended up being overdue by 2 weeks. I was born 2 weeks after the release of this movie, to the day. So there you have it. But anyway, that was a fun fact about Matt. This movie is just so perfect because I think what makes it work, as you mentioned, is that it isn't Alien 2. It's not. It's not another claustrophobic horror movie set in space where an alien's picking off people one by one. This one is for want of better terms, a war movie. Like it's an action shoot 'em up war movie.
Vietnam, because it's technically advanced people losing to people they shouldn't be losing.
And that's the thing, is this movie you can watch so many different ways. It's so layered and so textured. If you want to watch it as a straightforward revenge drama about a mom who's trying to get back at another evil, vicious bitch of a mom, that's the way you want to watch it.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it as a sequel to Alien, it totally works as a sequel to Alien. If you want to watch it as a Vietnam allegory, you can watch it as a Vietnam. Like, there's multiple ways you can sit down and watch it and take something different from it each time. And that's saying a lot for a movie that is a sequel, and B, a movie about a woman shooting aliens, or a bunch of Marines shooting monsters. Like, you can't really do that with any other movie of the sort.
I have to comment before I forget that just the whole idea of having it take place, I don't know how many years after.
57 years.
Yeah, Alien was just genius. I mean, that was just one little point that that was just you could have done or not done, but he decided, well, let's do this for the heck of it. And obviously, I don't know if there's been studies or whatever that people don't age the same way in Zero G or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, she wasn't necessarily in Zero G in the ship, but whatever, in space, that you don't necessarily age. I don't know what the whole that thing is about as quickly as you do on Earth. So, just that one minute little thing, which the movie starts off with and then kind of just forgets about, I think is so cool, and obviously works amazingly in the director's cut with the daughter situation, which completely explains the connection that she finds with Newt, which is completely lost without that scene.
I mean, the original theatrical cut is great no matter what.
Yeah,
but when you have the whole loss of the daughter thing as a theme running throughout the rest of the movie, it makes it so much more, because she's lost her world because she's not living in the present day that she was. She lost her daughter, obviously her crew, her friends. She's lost basically anything. She's entirely alone and suffering in solitude, which Newt is as well.
Yeah.
And the two come together to aid each other. And and you totally understand why she goes the lengths she does to get her back.
Right.
Which is essentially a remake of the ending of the first movie with the cat, but it works.
I think it's better.
Works better, because I mean the cat thing was a little questionable. Not that I'm a pet person. I love animals, so I understand
maybe
it.
Not,
But like when there's an alien thing going around, running back.
Yeah, the idea of going to the pet store and getting another cat quickly comes to mind.
Yeah, a little bit, especially when it wasn't really her cat. But this one, it just works so much better. And can we say probably one of the greatest images to certainly come out of the 80s, but to come out of any movie, is Ripley slowly turning around, daughter in hand, and seeing the giant spider of the Queen just sitting there, like resting 3/4 of the frame, and then just having the small Ripley right here looking at this.
Yeah, I think actually some of the theatrical and video store poster at work was of Newt in her arm with the guns and combined with the flamethrower thing, which unfortunately what they do now is they change artwork. I think artwork as it was in the old days is always better than all this computer crap they come up with now. But you're right, I mean that imagery is...
Like, that was probably the single coolest and most haunting and horrific scene, because you're like, wow, there's nothing that's more terrifying than the alien until you meet the alien's mother. And I think just the sight of that just spindly thing.
And again, the sound design for the breathing freaks me the shit out. It's so huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that is just awesome. The power loader scene, like, that's the most iconic scene out of the movie, or one of the opening scene with the dream as well, where she's knocking things
every
he's
quickly realizing that every scene is iconic.
Well, that's the best, like, I think that might be an example of the best cutting, like,
Actually, I think the guy who cut 2001...
Did he cut this?
Cut Alien, because it was filmed and obviously cut in England.
Yeah.
So I think it's Ray Lovejoy, I think, who also, of course, went on to cut the first Batman, because that was done out of England. But yeah, the guy who cut, that's the reason why. The guy who cut 2001, A Space Odyssey, cut Aliens.
Yeah.
So...
like that opening scene where she's knocking the water down and you see the water glass break and roll, and then you see the IV stand fall and sort of slide.
And everything's like in this...
this weird slow motion.
60 frames a second or something.
Like, that's just so great. And then her pulling it up and see, like...
You're kind of wondering, well, what the hell? How can this happen?
Like, that takes you right back to the first movie. You're immediately tense for the rest of the movie just because of that, and it didn't even happen. Yeah,
and the great thing about it is that it's not a cheat on the audience, because it's a nightmare that she's having. She has every night.
Post-traumatic stress, which also goes back to the whole Vietnam thing.
Yeah, right. Commenting on that.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's just so much perfection to be found in that movie. The score... I mean, the special effects hold up to this day, with the exception of maybe one or two little shots. And the casting, let's look at, like, who knew that, who was, I'm forgetting, Paul Reiser, like, who knew where that was going to... Yeah, like, great comedian, really funny, such a jerk, he's so smarmy, you just wanted to hit him. Like, he was so perfectly cast, and... that's, as far as I know, really his only dramatic role I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't know why he didn't do more. He was great. And then you have the James Cameron troupe that comes in like all of his movies, like Bill Paxton.
And what's her name?
Michael Biehn.
What's Vasquez's name?
Oh man, I knew it until you.
I'm sorry.
Jeanette Goldstein. Jeanette Goldstein.
Who has popped up in Cameron movies since.
She's in Titanic and T2. So yeah, like there's just nothing wrong with that movie.